Hi, I'm Rick Higgins. Welcome to Mastering the Second Half, and today we are talking cenotes. Why? Because I got a lot of extra footage after the trip we just took to Tulum, Mexico. They're beautiful, and I really wanted to share with you. So we recently got back from Tulum, Mexico, where we ate, we drank, we swam, and it was that part that I want to share with you. My absolute favorite part of Tulum, Mexico was the cenotes. For starters, let's do the Wikipedia thing. What is a cenote? Well, did you know that there are over 6,000 of them in Mexico, with the best of them being down in the Yucatán Peninsula? And well, a cenote is basically a collapse of limestone rock, and then a whole bunch of groundwater comes up. It's like a big sinkhole. Now, the water in these things is a very clear, very cool, and usually very deep. And I guess in the United States, we might call them sinkholes or quarries, for instance, but they're not man-made, they are nature-made. And regardless of what you call them, I just call them beautiful. Now, these things come in all kinds of different sizes, from small to, well, pretty damn big. There's also a great big scuba diving community that loves these things. But basically, they're just beautiful, natural, exposed holes in the ground with a lot of rock over your head and a lot of cool water underneath. Okay, enough geology, geography, whatever geo I've been doing, enough of it. Let's get to the trip. So we spent a week in Tulum and we visited 4 different cenotes. They couldn't have been more different if they tried. The one thing, however, they had in common, and you have to do this at all of them, is you can't wear sunscreen, you can't wear bug spray. You're gonna shower before you get in. Now, this is muy importante. The reason is all of these cenotes are loosely connected. Remember I said it's limestone rock has collapsed in, you got a big hole, groundwater flowed up. Well, that groundwater's connected. What gets into one gets into all of them. Don't wear sunscreen, don't wear bug spray. If you do, wash it off before you get in. It is important. Now, the very first one we visited was called Gran Cenote. Now, this one's kind of touristy. It's maybe a 10-minute cab ride from Tulum proper. It's easy to get to, it's easy to get back. The way you do is you walk into this stairwell that goes down to this wooden platform, which is in the middle of this big hole, and there are caves sort of branching off to the left, and caves sort of branching off to the right. The water is what you would call refreshing. It's cool / cold, and take this from a guy who hates cold water. It is cold, it is shocking, but at the same time, you get used to it really quickly, and it really is strangely refreshing. I'm not gonna like this, am I?
Yeah, you are. Once you're in,
It's refreshing.
It's refreshing. No, once you're in, you don't feel it.
Cool bets. I'm so not gonna like this. Yeah, refreshing. Now, what's inside of this particular cenote? Bats. Yes, fruit bats. You know, winged rodents, bats. There's also a lot of little birds. I think they're finches. They look like little finches. When you are swimming in the little cave systems off of this platform, they are going to be sharing your airspace, so get used to it. They're not going to hit you. They're really good at not hitting humans, but they're not going to avoid you either. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of things flying around your head. Oh, and they also have turtles and fish. So there's lots of other critters that are sort of sharing your space underneath as well. Now, most of the cenote is pretty deep. You can rent the life preserver floaty things. In fact, you get one when you rent a locker, and that's a little thing I want to tell you. Gran Cenote fills up kind of quick. By 11 o'clock, the lockers were gone. And so we got there at 10. It was sort of a little crowded, sort of not. But get a floaty if you're not a very strong swimmer. They do have these little rope things with floats in them going off in each direction, so you can hold on to something. But generally speaking, they're deep. Get a floaty. Now, Gran Cenote was Nikki's favorite one because she wanted to swim with the bats. For me, it was the next one we went to, which was Cenote Escondido. And I got to tell you all about this one. Now, Cenote Cristal and try saying this 3 times fast. Cenote Cristal and Cenote Escondido are actually right across the street from each other. Street meaning being a big, dusty, busy Mexican highway. Now, when you pay for one, you get into both. And it's a little bit longer of a cab ride from Tulum, maybe 15, 20 minutes. A word of warning, if you go out here, you're not going to get a cab back. It's in the middle of frickin' nowhere. You may have to take a colectivo, which is their version of a bus, back. We got lucky. We've actually found a cab and got them to wave down. Anyway, they're right across the street from each other. Cristal was the first one we visited. It's the smaller one. I would categorize this as a small lake, a big pond. There's not a lot of cliffs or anything. It's just a big hole of water sitting in the middle of a jungle. Now, they do have a rope swing you can go on, a couple of them I think, a couple platforms to jump in. They have a big high dive platform. I don't know how high. It was too high that I didn't want to jump off of it. It's nice. By the way, these 2 cenotes are not very touristy. I would say half the people who go there are locals. Now, the one I really loved, however, was Escondido. It is directly across the highway from Cristal. Once you cross over, taking your own light, you ever play Frogger? It's a lot like that. It's about a half a kilometer walk down a dirt road. And Escondido is a big, long sliver of a little mini lake, large pond. On one side, it just goes to jungle. The underside, there are cliffs. You're going to see a lot of scuba divers there because there are underwater caves. And there's platforms, stairs at either end. The water is absolutely gorgeous. The land is absolutely gorgeous. It is by far my favorite cenote of the 4 that we visited. Now, they do have this one thing there, and I have to explain this to you. They have feet fish. And by that I mean, a couple years ago, we were in Iceland and walking around Reykjavik, and they have these fish pedicure places where you sit on a chair and you put your feet in this glass box, and it's filled with fish. And the fish eat and bite all of the little dead skin off of your feet. It tickles. It's kind of fun. You get to do it for free here. They have the same little fish. So when you sit on a platform and you got your feet dangling in the water, the fish bite you. Now, it doesn't hurt. It's not painful at all, no way, shape, or form, but it is startling. So be aware that you can get a free pedicure just by sticking your feet in the water. And if you move your feet around, anyway, it's fun. Just do it. Now, the final cenote we saw was called Destino. And it really wasn't it was a cenote, but it's a restaurant. It's not even a restaurant. Okay, on the beach road down at La Playa, on the other side of the ocean, there is platforms and huts and walkways and sort of this outdoor restaurant-y bar thing. In the middle of it is a big hole. That's the cenote. So you go there and you can eat and drink. And by the way, the hamburgers there are incredible. Highly recommend them. But there is the cenote there, and it's not wide. It is very deep. They also have a little rope swing, and so while you're dining and noshing and drinking, you can also jump into the water. Now, I can't play the sound for this one. What I'm telling you, the thing that you're watching right now, is basically me telling you that the water is really, really, really cold. It's also a little brackish. It's, I guess being so close to the ocean, it's a little salty, but it was nice. I wouldn't go there for the cenote, but to go there just to have a restaurant with a cenote in it is pretty cool. Anyway, it's a fun little place. Go to Destino just to say you've been to a cenote inside of an outdoor pub. Now, the cenotes were my absolute hands down favorite part of the trip, which is kind of odd because, like I said, I hate cold water. I was actually half thinking of bailing on these things, but I enjoyed them so much. The water is indeed refreshing. It's not a joke word. I love the food in Tulum. The food is incredible. The beaches are gorgeous, but the cenotes were just so much natural, so much nature, so much just gorgeous goodness. And like I say, it's hot down there and the water is so cool and refreshing, and there's 6,000 of them down there. We got to see 4. Cannot wait to go back down to the Yucatán Peninsula and find I can't do the math, to see the rest of them. I highly encourage you to do it. Now, I hope this helps. You got 4 different varieties of cenotes. I'm imagining there must be 500 more. So with that, get down there, go travel, be healthy, be happy, and we'll see you real soon.